right, well, Mark, thank you so much for taking some time to stop by and chat with me. We'll just start off for everyone watching at home. Please introduce yourself. Tell us about you.
Yeah. Well, I'm a Youper. I graduated from Stevenson High School, grew up in a small town called Wallace down in Menominee County, and ended up playing basketball up here at NMU. And in 2004, they put me in the NMU Sports Hall of Fame, and really had a wonderful experience up here in Marquette County too. Started to play professional basketball over in Europe, and came back, and I got into the financial business, and I stayed in the financial business for probably close to 30 years. And then when I was 52, I got the call that I had to deal with cancer a little bit, and that took a little while, so I kind of retired. And since then, I've done some things like work with handicapped people or special needs people, and I'm a volunteer fireman. I was a lead officer for the United States Anti-Doping Agency. So 13 years ago, Tom Casperson came to my office and asked if I would run for the 109th district up here when we were living up here in Marquette. Well, then we declined. I'm not a politician. I never was. Still haven't been. And so, fast forward to last December, Jack Bergman and his team talked to me about it, and that's why I'm sitting here.
Cool. So again, just a little bit about how your background kind of led you to running in this race.
Well, I've always been community-minded, business-minded, and throughout the years I've served on a lot of community boards and committees. And honestly, I think there's a little bit of divine intervention here, because I can't really say how this all happened, other than I think God has me where He wants me to be, and that's the only way I can really explain it.
Yeah, sure. So now, following the last general election, there was a lot of talk about democracy being at risk through voting methods or the soundness of our elections. What are your thoughts on that in the past and moving forward?
It's a big concern. Do I think there was voter fraud? I do, but I think it may have, I think it's been there a long time. I think we need to address it. Voting is one of the biggest privileges of being an American that needs to be protected.
Yeah, thank you. And now, with the likelihood of abortion access being on the ballot in November, what are your thoughts on that proposal?
I'm endorsed by pro-life, and I believe in life at conception. I don't like late-term abortions, but part of being pro-life is also being very conscious of the mother's life. And so anybody who pounds their fist and says, I'm 100% pro-life, you have to think of the mother, and you have to think of the penalty stage too. So we got to be a little bit careful. I know I am very careful, but I consider myself very much pro-life.
And now, if elected, what would you do to improve access to mental health care in the Upper Peninsula?
Well, mental health is a bigger issue now than maybe ever in history. And I think a lot of that has been caused by some of the government mandates that have been put on people. It's very hard on our youth to be separated from other youth. It's very hard when you shut down schools. It's very hard when you change the way we interact with each other as humans. And that, I believe, is a big issue with mental health.
Yeah. Now, if elected, what would you do to improve access to care for seniors?
Well, you hit on one of my very biggest issues. A normal shift for a nurse is about 6 to 8 patients. Right now, nationwide, they're running about 18. The healthcare of our seniors suffers when that happens, when there are just not enough nurses. So we need to recruit and give better benefits to the educational system when people want to become nurses. We need more nurses. We need to keep them. We need to take care of them better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And now, this will be my final question for you. Do you have any message for undecided voters right now?
Well, from what I understand in some of the polls, there are quite a few undecided. This is a primary, and we are all, there's 4 of us in this race, and we are all pretty much the same on the issues. What you have to look at is who's got the leadership background. Who will you send to Lansing to create consensus on getting the job done? Look at the winning records behind everyone. Look at the experience. I will not say anything negative about my opponents because they are good people and they are in it for the right reasons.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you, Mark, so much. I appreciate you taking some time to stop by today and being patient with me getting ready, and I think everybody will appreciate watching this.
Oh, you're welcome.
Man, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great.